the Battle of Cheat Mountain, which was also known as the Battle of Cheat Summit Fort, which took place from September 12th to the 15th, 1861 in Pocahontas County and Randolph County in Virginia, which is now West Virginia, as part of the Western Virginia Campaign. It was also the first battle of the Civil War in which Robert E. Lee led troops into combat.
Oh, if E. Lee's doing this, I think this has to be a Confederate one. I don't think Lee loses a lot of battles. Starting in May of 1861, Union forces commanded by Major General George B. McClellan. So we got two majors.
Well,
I think Lee's only just the Virginia, right?
Yeah, for now.
The Virginia Army.
I don't think he's the overall commander yet.
Yeah, so we got Union lead commander, Major General George B. McClellan, advanced from Ohio into the western region of Virginia, both to protect Ohio and Pennsylvania from invasion from Confederate troops, and to help the pro-Union government of the West Virginia located in Wheeling defeat Confederate incursions, from eastern Virginia. So they're protecting this Wheeling like it's almost like the United States. Washington D.C. right
it's
now.
like that. Yeah, big guy over West Virginia. That's what they want. Can't let the whole state of Virginia go.
Right. So we got to draw a line and be like, hey, this has to be our spot here, guys. Following his victory at Rich Mountain, McClellan was transferred to command the Army of the Potomac. Mm-hmm. We already said this.
Right.
Which Rosecrans commanded Western Virginia.
Uh-huh. Which now Rosecrans and concentrated his forces to protect the major transportation lines in the region. Brigadier General Joseph J. Reynolds was left in command of the Cheat Mountain District, defending the Staunton and Parkersburg Turnpike with 4 regiments, totaling 1,800 men.
Seems about right.
One regiment, the 14th Indiana, commanded by Colonel Nathan Kimball, defended Fort Milroy on Cheat Mountain, while the remaining 3 were at Camp Elkwater near the Tiger Valley River, where Reynolds established his headquarters.
You got to be by rivers. Or
Gotta
at least by any ports of entry.
Gotta get some supplies, man. Can't come on land.
Right. Well, Robert E. Lee, he was sent to Western Virginia by Confederate President Jefferson Davis to coordinate the various Confederate forces in the region and regain lost Confederate territory. He was like, we lost some territory over there. We need to get it back.
Need to go get it, bud.
He arrived at the camps of Army of Northwest, commanded by Brigadier General William W. Loring. Near the end of July, he went there. Although he did not replace Loring, Lee did issue orders through him. So basically,
right.
But he was like the guy in the background.
He just was like making sure that Loring kept command of his men. Right. So Loring's the one giving the orders, but really Lee is giving the orders.
Right. After personally scouting the area around the Union positions, Lee devised a strategy that included a 2-pronged simultaneous attack against Kimball's position on the summit of the Cheat Mountain and against Reynolds.
Ooh, so we're going to go at them both, boys,
right.
He says. Well, the plan used Loring's Army of the Northwest, which was divided into 6 brigades for the battle. Brigadier General Henry R. Jackson's brigade would create a diversion in front of Fort Milroy, while Colonel Albert Rust's brigade would make the main assault on the fort, and the Brigadier General Samuel Anderson's brigade would capture the turnpike west of the fort.
Okay.
The Brigadier General Daniel Donaldson and Colonel Jesse S. Burke would seize the pass behind Camp Elkwater, with Colonel William Gilham's brigade in reserve. Loring was given command of Burke's and Gilham's brigades during the battle.
It's a good little setup right there, though, man. Take
them all at once, man.
And then just basically kind of...
That's all you're doing, yep. Taking it and then go out. Well, we had
Union... Kind of like what the Union did a couple battles ago, wasn't it? It basically came in and kept on rolling.
Came in, yep.
Just kept on rolling along.
We got the Union forces, Cheat Mountain District, they're called. Brigadier General Joseph J. Reynolds got the 1st Brigade under... He commanded the 1st Brigade as well. He had the artillery and cavalry. Confederate forces of the Army of the Northwest, commanded by Lee, had the 1st Brigade with Brigadier General Henry R. Jackson, and 2nd Brigade under Brigadier General Samuel R. Anderson.
All right. He had...
So we got a bunch of Ohio. We got a bunch of Indiana, Ohio, West Virginias. I don't got a 1st Michigan artillery over there in the Union side. Bunch of Ohio's. Then Confederates, we got Arkansas, 3rd Arkansas, 23rd Virginia, 25th Virginia, 31st Virginia, 1st Tennessee, 4th Tennessee, and 16th Tennessee.
So we got Tennessee and Virginia, a little fight here. That's cool. The approaches by each of these 3 Confederate brigades were uncoordinated. Rain, fog, mountainous terrain, a dense forest, limited visibility to minimal distances.
Right, they're in West Virginia, first of all. Right. That's all it is
Come on now.
Mountainous terrain and fog. And
you're talking... basically hand-to-hand combat, if not 30, 50 feet away. Man, that sucks. You gotta be really quiet. I hope that rain is loud. Sneak up on those guys. As a result, each of the 3 Confederate brigades assigned to attack Cheat Summit Fort acted independently, never made contact with each other.
Wow.
The Union defenders on Cheat Summit were very familiar with the terrain and mountain trails.
I would hope so, since they're camped out there.
Right.
Information from captured Federal soldiers was so misleading, obviously, and 2 Federal probing attacks from Cheat Summit Fort were so aggressive that Russ and Anderson, each leading approximately 1,500 soldiers at Cheat Mountain, were convinced that an overwhelming force confronted them.
Right.
Russ and Anderson withdrew their 3,000 men, although they actually faced only about 300 determined Federals outside the Union fortifications. At Elk Water, Reynolds' brigade faced 3 more Confederate brigades, but refused to budge from the well-prepared entrenchments.
Right.
Ain't giving up.
Well,
That's like make them seem you're bigger than you are.
right. They could have easily took them out. Lost a few, but at the end of the day, they would have took over that little spot.
It even said that Lee personally scouted the area, so he would think he didn't know that they didn't have that many people in the first place. Seems like he's not a very good scouter.
Maybe he didn't go that far. Mm-hmm. I don't know. That's a little weird there. The plan sounded good. It just wasn't
Weren't prepared, apparently, for the terrain and all that shit.
ridiculous. The Confederates did not press an attack after Colonel John A. Washington, a member of Lee's staff, the great-grandnephew of George Washington, and the last civilian owner of the first president's Mount Vernon's estate.
Oh, wow.
Was murdered by the Union right.
It's not murdered.
Same thing. A reconnaissance. So they're like, yeah, let's not do that, right? Why would you not?
He was killed.
Just one guy, so you're just done?
Yeah. That was our best reconnaissance man.
Right. Reynolds was so confident in the face of such timidity that he dispatched 2 of his own regiments from Elk Water up to the mountain road to relieve the supposedly besieged fortress garrison. But the arriving Union reinforcements were unnecessary. They didn't need them. Lee called off the attack, and after maneuvering into the vicinity, withdrew to Valley Mountain on September 17th. Reynolds, meanwhile, planned an offensive against the Confederate forces stationed at the Greenbrier River. That was a terrible paragraph.
So basically, George Washington's great-grandnephew was killed, and the Confederates didn't want to press an attack, and the Reynolds sent reinforcements to the Union, but didn't need it because Lee called off the attack. How about that?
Right.
Reynolds' forces lost a total of 88 casualties, 10 killed, 14 wounded, 64 captured. Confederate casualties were unreported, but Reynolds and Kimball claimed 100 Confederates were killed and 20 were captured. The battle had little effect on either the campaign or the war. Both forces after the battle were in positions similar to their positions before. In October, Lee left Cheat Mountain for Sewell Mountain, which I am sure we'll have, in the Kanawha River Valley with the troops of John B. Floyd and Henry Wise, but he was forced to cancel the offensive operations he had planned because of low supplies and bad weather. Lee was recalled to Richmond on October 30th after achieving little in Western Virginia. He came back to Richmond, and Jefferson was like, man, dude, seriously?
So you're not who you say you are.
Right. What in the hell are we getting ourselves into with you, Lee?
Right.